Have you heard of the fantastic new golf shoes, which actually will help your game? Squares will help you improve your balance, stability, and give you more distance.
You want to work on your golf swing authentically? Do it from ground upwards. Change your shoes, change your game.
I did, and I gained 7 yards. These shoes are designed with the latest performance technology, and in testing, they're proven to help add distance. Just go to getsquares.com to find out more. Squares, the distance golf shoe.
At the John Daly Major Ed Foundation, we also focus on making sure that we partner up with great organizations. Great organizations like St. Jude's, great organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, our friends at Warriors for Freedom, our friends at Force 50 Foundation, which provides veterans the health care that they need. As you can see, we are the safety net at the John Daly Major Ed Foundation to make sure that no one gets left behind on the field of battle and that you're taken care of in the home front. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Hoorah!
Welcome back to Big's Golf Talk right here on Native Family Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube TV, and don't forget about your Amazon devices. Big John Quick back with you with Bill the Golffather Cuevas as we tee it up on hole number 10, Bill the Golffather Cuevas. And this segment is sponsored by GolfKnickers.com. They are the world's leading retailer of classic golf apparel. Listen, they specialize in their full line of men's plus fours, or golf knickers as we know it. And to complement those knickers, they have a full line of matching socks, caps, and shirts, allowing them to deliver the complete outfit to their customers. Their customers do include radio and TV show hosts, yes, corporations, golf courses, school golf teams, tournaments, and avid golfers around the world, such as myself and Bill the Golffather Cuevas, and many others. Listen, they are committed to growing the game of golf by encouraging players to wear the game the way it was meant to be played. And how is that, Bill the Golffather Cuevas?
By making us wear the old style, the real style. It's funny that we're talking. You know what happened? My phone just went off. You know who it was? Who? The owner of Golf Knickers. True story. True story, folks. It just went off. So how, Mr. Pari, we're talking about you. He knew we were talking about him. How coincidental is that, bro? It's perfect.
GolfKnickers.com, the world leader in traditional golf apparel. Give them a call at 1-800-940-9415. That's 1-800-940-9415. Now, Bill the Golffather Cuevas, just before we came back here on our number 2 and teeing it up on the 10th hole, getting ready to play some back 9 golf here. Yeah. Well, you've seen an intro video, and you actually participating in a great event that really is out there to help support our veterans.
Yes, you know us. We love to support our veterans, whether it be Foes of Honor, John Daly Major Ed Foundation, SOF. I've been blessed to do their event the last 2 years. I think they're doing a great job. The event raises a lot of money. Last year they had a sponsor that doubled it. This year they had a sponsor that doubled it. So I'm honored that I get invited to go out there and participate in it.
SOF Missions was established back in 2011 as a nonprofit 501c3 organization by Dr. Damon and Dana Friedman. Damon, a retired lieutenant colonel with the Special Operations Community, served for 20 years. He knows firsthand the challenges warriors face, having served on 4 combat tours to Iraq and Afghanistan. Their team at SOF believes they are called to be freedom fighters. Their mission is to combat the veteran suicide crisis. Did you know that every 65 minutes, a veteran takes his or her life? And Bill the Godfather Cuevas, you and I are big proponents on knocking down that 22 a day.
Yeah, I mean, we've been pushing for years to get it. We're involved with a lot of organizations, from horseback riding to making flags to all kinds of stuff. But SOF is totally different from what they do. I love what they do. I mean, I met him, like I said, 2 years ago, and the story and what they do. I met Ziggy, the long drive guy, who does a lot of stuff for the organization as well. There's a lot of people that are tied into it. That's really, really a close knit community. And they're spreading the word. I mean, we got to get them out. They've been in existence for a while, but they're growing and growing and growing. And the more we could help, the more people they can reach and help. I got my kids in the military, and I got another one going in that's, just turned 18 and hit me with it a couple weeks ago. I'm going into the Army. I was like, okay. And, we need organizations when they come back. They need to be prepared for when they do come back, and know if they need the assistance, that they have people like, Dr. Damon to come to and help them out.
I'd be reminiscent to say thank you, by the way, to Greg Wise for that montage video that we played before we came back. So he compiled that, and great talent, Greg Wise is. So special thank you to Greg Wise. Let's bring in our next guest here on Big's Golf Talk and BGT-TV. Dr. Damon Friedman is joining us here. And Doctor, first off, thank you for your service. Thank you for my freedom. And thank you for what you're doing for the veterans out there.
Well, it's a real honor to be on your show. I've been wanting to be firsthand right here with y'all, talk a little bit of golf talk, and it's also an honor to serve my country. And I really appreciate all the support that we get from great Americans like yourself. So thanks a lot for having me here.
Thank you.
Now, Bill the Godfather Cuevas was out there. I seen pictures with you and him together, and
Right.
How's your golf game?
Well, actually, probably get
he's a scratch golfer. He's a scratch golfer just like us, Biggs.
That's right.
He scratches his head every time he hits the shot.
I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. Actually, I was a little disappointed I didn't get to play as much as I wanted to during the tournament, and I was supposed to play much more, but I don't know. I just get so amped up, making sure everything is running smooth for this tournament. And just like Bill said, we were able to raise a lot of money. We raised a little under $70,000, which is pretty good for a post-pandemic.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of nonprofits are still struggling, particularly since last year. And we've been super blessed to be able to stay strong and focused on what's going on. And being able to still be at the tip of the spear in combating the suicide epidemic. So really grateful for On Top of the World, and Miss Linda and Kinley and Andrew and just the whole team out there. Matt Hibbs, who's the director out there in golf, couldn't do it without those guys and gals. So, and I appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we'll see you again, Bill. And maybe we should be partnered up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we can cause havoc together. All right.
I'd love to.
I may have to fly out there for that.
He might have to fly out. You know what, Biggs? There's a lot of talent out there, man.
We may have to do a live Big's Golf Talk show from out there.
That's right. Hey, why not? I mean, we could do it. No big deal.
Yeah, and he loves to talk. I mean, you used to see him. He's a spitfire. He's running all over the place, doing all kinds. I'm like, damn it, over here. So yeah, it'll be fun trying to track him down and keep him down for a couple minutes, especially during the event.
Before we get into the nooks and crannies of SOF, first off, I want to just say that golf is that one sport that has no limitations and could actually save people's lives and therapy for people. And certainly Bill the Godfather Cuevas is a testimonial to that it saved his life essentially. But we hear many, many stories from different veterans and people that have served in our country, how golf essentially brought them back to some kind of normalcy. Do you see that quite often, Dr. Damon?
Yeah. So actually, believe it or not, this kind of goes into a little bit of my own therapy. I went into an inpatient program that focused on mild TBI, which is synonymous for concussions, PTSD, pain, and sleep. And what ended up happening was a part of my reintegration into society. They had recreational therapy. And recreational therapy, there's all sorts of different kinds, but I was introduced to adaptive golf therapy. I do have a lot of injuries, particularly, with my brain and also my back. And when they introduced me to adaptive golf therapy, at first I was like, I'm not going to do this. This is so lame. First, I really stink at golf. And second, why would I want to be out there with this stupid little club trying to hit this stupid little white ball? But I was introduced. We had an incredible adaptive golf therapist, a PGA pro, Coach Bob. And you know what? There was something very therapeutic about the whole process. And honestly, it is the one form of therapy that I continue to have that helps me. It helps manage my stress. It helps me focus. It helps me kind of just take a tactical pause. And it is an instrumental piece of self-care. So I'm here to tell you that adaptive golf therapy now is a critical component for our organization, SOF Missions. And in our organization, we combat the suicide epidemic, with a whole health model, psychological, physical, spiritual, and social. And when we do adaptive golf therapy, we intertwine that with the social reintegration, with the psychological, piece. And also it helps the physiological cognitive piece, just kind of staying focused and being able to practice some good practices to keep your brain sharp. And of course, it's a major stress reliever. So it's been really great. And I do it at least once or twice a week. At least I try, so it's always a goal to make sure that I do self-care.
Dr. Damon, on your website, and certainly with COVID and this pandemic globally, we see that number of 22 has grown, just not by veterans, but also by students, teenagers, because of this pandemic and all that stuff. How do we get that number back below 22? I mean, it's been a fight for many, many years to get it below 22 a day. And just when we make progress, now we get this pandemic, and certainly doesn't help the situation with people committing suicide.
Yeah. So it's really unfortunate. A lot of Americans don't know that, believe it or not, suicide is the leading cause of death for men in many other countries. And it is literally, last time I checked, the second leading cause of death for, our I think 13 to 30, kids and males. And it's soon, in the pandemic, is definitely there's suicide is on the rise. And I will not be surprised at all if, we wake up in a few years where suicide is the primary killer of men, which is really interesting. So for me, I spent 20 years in special operations, 5 years in the Marine Corps, 15 in special ops, and multiple deployments in Afghanistan and Iraq. And, got my head shaken up a few times. And I shared earlier on, going to some inpatient programs to get me back on my feet. I spent a total of a year, either inpatient or outpatient, on medical leave, receiving care for my injuries, particularly from concussions. And I went through a struggle back in 2010, where I contemplated, suicide myself. What's my purpose? Why am I living? But a lot of it had to do with my pain. It's psychological pain, physical pain, spiritual pain, social pain, like all of it. It's just so overwhelming. And I just didn't know how to solve the problem. And I really feel like suicide is a multi-dimensional issue, right? And I also believe that suicide is not just a mental health crisis. See, people are always wondering, well, how come, we're spending billions of dollars on mental health, and yet, and particularly even in the veteran community, and still it's over 20 veterans still. It's still over 20 veterans. And it's been a long time, and we're throwing everything at it. It's because suicide is a multidimensional issue. So, for me, when I was on my road to recovery, it took a while, but the care was addressing multiple domains. Very, very important for all the listeners out there, right? You got the psychological domain, the physical domain, the spiritual domain, and the social domain. And, one treatment and modality that addresses one domain doesn't necessarily help or treat another domain. And so that's why when we're processing trauma, right, especially guys and gals coming back from the war or something that might happen, whether it's like sexual trauma or combat trauma or whatever it means, trauma is being processed on multiple domains. So you really have to treat each domain with its actual, equality and respect. So that's what we do in our nonprofit. That's the care that I got. And it's whole health, truly whole health. People throw around that holistic, oh, we're holistic. You don't even know what holistic means, right? It's just like the buzzword, but for us, the whole health model is we're going to, Warrior's going to come to us and we're going to address each domain with its appropriate treatment and modality. And that's what we do in our organization. The same care that I got, that I found hope in, is what we're rolling out for all of our warriors: psychological, physical, social, and spiritual care. It's been pretty awesome and very, very, very effective.
That's a grand slam in my book. You don't hear about people covering all four aspects. Right. Most of we're really heavy in the community of of the military and stuff. So we have a lot of people that became alcoholics, drug addicts, and the only thing that they covered was that. They said, okay, they have this issue that they want to take their life because they're drinking to solve their problems, and they only deal with that particular problem. And then, of course, when they fall back into where they were at, they're like, oh wow, we addressed it. They were weak. They were this. They're not weak. They're not addressing everything like you're saying. There's multiple different levels for everything. My daughter's gone through it. I'm retired law enforcement. I go through it. I still suffer from it. It's still a battle of certain things that I've seen, things that I've experienced. And like you said, faith and everything else is what helps get it. If you can get the four goals, and get it all in, it's going to be perfect to help somebody. At least give them the best opportunity that you can.
Well, here's the thing too, is you bring up a good point, Bill. And for our veterans that do come back and transition into civil life, here's the question. Here's the hard part. How do we get them to that point? Because isn't that the hardest part, is when they come home, they have no idea where to turn to. They have no job, and the transition level. Now, if they can just turn to somebody like SOF for a transition and help transition themselves back into civility, that might be able to get them to the point you're talking about, Bill. But I think the hardest part is to get to them to that point. Am I right by saying that, Dr. Damon?
Yeah. So you really highlighted something very, very critical, and it's that transition piece. So for our organization, and this is very, very important for all the listeners. When you come to our organization and we send you to one of our clinics, right? And we have all the therapists under the sun, from psychologists, chiropractors, to cognitive therapists, massage therapy. I know Bill and Big, you love that massage therapy. Okay. What I'm saying? We have creative therapy. We have adaptive golf therapy, like all of them. And they come here for a whole week. They're kind of in a utopia. Right. And then so we help them kind of all right, we identify what their problems are and what their problems are not, which might be just as important. But here's what happens. After they're here from, for 1 week, they go into a transition piece, and they're going back to all the temptations that's happening in their life. So they were in this resort over at Saddlebrook, right? Where we have it. That's how I lure all my warriors. I'm like, look, dude, just come for a week here. We'll take care of you. You come to the resort, right? You'll stay in a condo. I already know Bill and Big are coming. You know what I'm saying?
Not for nothing. That's in my backyard. I'm going to share that. Saddlebrook is my backyard. I'm 6 minutes away from Saddlebrook. So if you ever need a helping hand, I'm right there, man. Literally
Absolutely.
6 minutes away.
Absolutely. In fact, you know what? Maybe we'll do, a radio show at one of our clinics, and we'll go, hey, just so you know, we're pumping this up. It's going to be in May. So more to follow on that. That'd be kind of cool if we did something here.
That would be awesome.
But kind of like that whole transition piece. And we tell our guys, I'm like, you're going to go back. We had one guy, prior Special Forces, Green Beret, and he was drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels a night. a night. And so when he showed up and when you come to our clinic, I'm like, look, dude, you got to go dry because we're going to be working on your sleep. You can't be drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels and us pushing you through a sleep clinic so that we can figure out what your levels are and if you're getting deep sleep and REM and all that other stuff. And so the guy's like shaking. And then finally by the 5th day he's leaving, he's like, okay, now what? And you go, I want you to know something, man. All of us are here for you. So you get one-on-one care, 30 days straight. Then you do a progress check. Then if you still need one-on-one care, 60 days, 90 days, you actually get 365 days fully funded care. But the transition piece is key. So you go back to your home and your wife is angry at you. She hates you. Your kids are pissed off at you. You're never around, right? You were abusive, or, you were an alcoholic and, you were always constantly violent and whatever. And that bottle's there and you're alone again and it's dark and you don't have a job and blah. I'm like, look, bro, it all starts off with a positive attitude because here's the reality. And listen to me, very important. I believe this down in the core of my soul. Did you know that only 1% of all Americans, of all of America, this is the greatest nation in the world, past, present, future. I am positive about this. Okay. That, when it comes to freedom, is America, only 1% actually signed on the bottom line. I'm like, the fact that you are only 1% of America to have the courage and the boldness. And then you go through this process, this discipline, this honor, this courage, this commitment. Look, you're very, very, very unique in itself. And America loves you. And you know what? It doesn't matter what you did in the military, whether you were a Green Beret, you were a pilot, you were in supply and admin, or whatever it was, it doesn't matter. If you put on that uniform, you are awesome, man. Like, you're unique. You are called to be a world changer. And as soon as they're reminded, right, when they took that oath, it says, I solemnly swear, right, to defend, the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Like, there's something about you, man, the intestinal fortitude that you would even say such things, that you take your right hand and do that. Listen, brother, all I know is that there's a future for you, man. You've been changing the world when you were wearing that uniform. You will continue to wear that, change the world when you don that uniform and put on a new mission set. And so we really help those guys and gals get back on their feet and remember that they are unique and they're called to be world changers. They are freedom fighters to the very essence of their core, of their soul. And then all of a sudden, when they change their attitude, like, dude, I remember how I used to feel. And we're working on their mind, their body, their soul, their and getting them back into the Spartan shape that they used to be in. Man, all of a sudden their attitudes change. And it's easy because, if you really believe something, there's a 99.9% chance you can do it.
Dr. David, stand by because
hold that thought, because we're not going nowhere. We're not going there.
BGT-TV is going to continue on. I know we got to break away on the radio side. We would do that right now. We're going to break away. But before we break away on the audio side, I want to tell you that there's a 5th annual SOF Missions Destin Gala, and it's going to happen at Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort in Miramar Beach, Florida. For more information about that, learn more at sofmissions.org/gala. And we hope that you could be a part of it or at least become a sponsor, because without your help, they can't help the people they need to help and get them involved in all that stuff. So they really, really need your help. One more time, sofmissions.org/gala on Native Family Radio, on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all that. We will continue on here on Big's Golf Talk Radio, but we're going to stand by on BGT TV on YouTube TV. So we'll be right back right after this. All right, we're continuing on here on BGT TV with Dr. Damon Friedman from SOF. And I'll tell you what, man, brother, you were preaching, and I didn't want to stop you on the radio side.
Nope.
Oh, man.
I'm just, I guess, the interview, you all started really addressing some things that are vital. And also the messaging is just so important because you do have an audience out there and they're listening. And it's just so important, that they understand that there is hope and that there are people that are involved in this that have gone through the same challenges that they have, the same, military challenges, whether it was overseas or, here on American soil. Like, it's tough. It's tough to serve, in the military. It is not an easy thing. And that's why, 99% of Americans don't do it, and 1% of Americans do.
I gotta be
and
honest.
it
I
comes
was
at a
never
cost.
brave enough. I never served, but I always said I will support those that 1% that do serve. Because if it wasn't for them, I couldn't do what I'm doing right now. I couldn't be on the golf course playing some golf. You know, I couldn't even talk on my cell phone and have the freedom of doing that without the 1% serving our country to defend our freedoms.
That's why one of my
Yeah.
biggest pet peeves is Red Friday. You know, remember everyone deployed on Friday. Why
Yeah.
just Friday? You know
Right.
what I mean? Well, it should be every day. Every day we have the luxuries. We don't have it just on Friday. Friday's
No.
not just our day of luxury. And
Yeah.
the thing is that the parents, as a parent, I think I suffered more with my daughter on her 4 deployments than anything. Because when she was deployed, we didn't have the access like we do now with the internet and doing Snapchats and all the other stuff. I didn't talk to her for months. I didn't know anything, and waiting for a phone call, that never came, thank God. You just don't know. You don't know what they're going through, and when they do call you, they're shaken up. I mean, she still suffers today. You know, 16 years. She's a master sergeant in the military, and I'm like, you just don't know the pain and suffering that they have. And she'll scratch, but it's not real.
Billy,
Sorry.
Dr. Damon, here's when some people, forget. There are men and women that miss the birth of their child, miss their birthday, miss their graduation, not to mention holidays. The men and women that serve our country can't take a day off. They can't call in sick. They can't call on personal time to go to a kid's graduation or a kid's basketball game or miss their graduation. We know men and women that have missed the ultimate senior graduation of a high school, the pinnacle of a child's academic career, and they're in Afghanistan, they're in Iraq, they're in Syria, defending our freedom. And some of us, not me, not Bill the Godfather Cuevas, not Dr. Damon Friedman, but there's a lot of people that just spit on that freedom. And I'm sorry, Dr. Damon, that just gets me worked up and pisses me off a lot of times.
Yeah. So the reality is I really appreciate you guys understanding the implications of serving. Right. It's like we, even as parents and having friends and family that, put on that uniform. I mean, we don't ever know, what the outcome is going to be. Some of the most tragic issues that, or just tragic moments I've ever experienced wasn't necessarily like, oh, the guy was in a firefight and he was killed in action. It was like, he was like killed in training. Or an IED driving down on some convoy on a main supply route, or something happening here, or suicide. It's like war is hell. It really is. I just you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when just like was just mentioned. Your daughter serving, and she could easily be killed for whatever reasons, and somebody in uniform can knock on your door at whatever time. It's the worst feeling in the whole world. I had to do that one time when one of my men got shot in the chest, and I was back in garrison as the acting commander up in North Carolina for a special operations unit. And, it's like, it's a terrible, man, I'll tell you, it's just a terrible, terrible thing, but it's required, right? Because if somebody's not donning that, putting on that uniform and training hard, understanding a terrorist network and an enemy out there that will do everything and anything, to destroy America, period. Because there's people out there that hate you just because you're American, just because you were born in this country. They don't even know the first thing about you, man. They don't, the second that they say that they find out that you're American, they just want to kill you. And those are very, very dangerous people. It's got nothing, and it's got everything to do with American ideals that you want people to be free, and those other people believe in oppression and oppressing people. And so, it's like, comes at a cost. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to, understand, the way of the gun so that you could protect this great nation, So I really appreciate you both to understand that. And I really am grateful that you have family members that are serving, because, it's necessary.
my father-in-law, he's a retired colonel, Air Force pilot, fighter pilot, and hence I actually took my wife's name in marriage to honor him. When I met with him and I said, Colonel Quick, I really want to honor you because my biological father was just the biggest piece of trash, and I didn't want to carry on that legacy. I wanted to carry on a new legacy. I wanted to carry on a legacy of honor, of respect, of freedom. And that's my father-in-law, Colonel James Quick. And so hence is why I took on the name Big John Quick. And I decided to use Quick for professionally and personally. But I certainly have the biggest respect. And, let's talk about a little bit about your 2021 mission statement from SOF. Here is a little pamphlet here that people can actually look at. I know the printing and everything else is a little small on that, but let's talk a little bit about this.
Yeah. So, we start off in 2011, as mentioned, but and we started really off as a humanitarian mission organization where we would deploy veterans, active duty, and veterans to go to third world countries. And I found a lot of healing in, building orphanages, doing disaster reliefs, doing medical clinics, to do, massive food distribution. And we did it in Afghanistan, we did it in the Amazon. We did it in Haiti. We did it in Peru, the Philippines, Honduras, Guatemala, like just a slew of places. And then about the last 5 years, we really focused our energy like, okay, I felt a calling to really provide whole health care. And that was the beginning of this resiliency project, which is our methodology. And that is addressing this issue of suicide, multidimensional, whole health approach, true holistic, and addressing each domain where there might be trauma. So that's what we've been doing. And, that's the sheet that you just popped up there. And it's been working. We served over 2,500 veterans that have 2,500 people that have gone through our program, and particularly the whole health model. We had 53 scholarships last year. And listen, when we're doing whole health for 365 days for one warrior, that's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of energy. You're investing so much into one person. But my perspective is that I really want to just make sure that I can journey with you, figure out what's going on, breach through the obstacles, the walls that are keeping you down. And then at the end of the year, you're not just a full productive member of society, but I'm hoping that you will be a leader in this fight. Like that's what I'm trying. That's really my goal. And it gives you purpose, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. And go ahead,
Bill. I think what we need to do is on our website we have charities.
I was just thinking that. I think that we have to try to
Dr. Damon talk. I think this is something that Big's Golf Talk, Big John Quick, and Bill Cuevas needs to stand behind and get behind and help grow the awareness that the SOF is trying to do. So I want to just tell my producer right now that we want your permission, Dr. Damon Friedman, to put SOF Missions on our website and a donate button where they can donate and everything else. And that brings me to my last question for you. How can people get involved and how can people help?
Yeah. So, every day is a fight to save one life. And, people are always like, man, the issue's too big. The crisis is too large. No, man, one, all it takes is one. If you can help with one, you're a world changer, man. And it's just a fact, right? And so, go to our website, sofmissions.org, see the work that we're doing, man. Like, don't take my word for it. See what we're doing. There's a lot of organizations out there that, claim to be helping veterans, and a lot of them are not. It's saturated in the market, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I just retired 20 years. Why am I doing this? Because I believe that what we're doing is making a significant impact, and you could see what we're doing. And so I'm reaching out to everybody else out there. If you have somebody that needs help, go to sofmissions.org. Learn about what we're doing. If you're somebody who's within the military community, learn about what we're doing. sofmissions.org. Be an ambassador. Let other people know what we're doing. And last but not least, I just thought how cool would this be? What if we actually had a partnership where you help me fund adaptive golf therapy for my warriors? That would be sick. I mean, think about that. I mean, it's not a lot. Like, I mean, seriously, it could be literally an awesome partnership. Big's Golf Talk, SOF Missions, fighting suicide through adaptive golf therapy. Come on, that's resonating, man. Talk to me.
That is sick. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I'll tell you what, they also have events. Earlier on, I talked about a gala on the radio side, and you probably watched it here on BGT-TV as well. But talk about that gala that people could be a part of and actually
see the mission. Yeah. Meet the people that have been in the program. I mean, that's the key. If you can meet the people and see the impact like I have, and that's why, I mean, we get all kinds of charities that want this, but we're very selective on what we're going to do and how we're going to promote it.
Well, here's the thing. Dr. Damon Friedman brought something up really good, that there's a lot of organizations out there that say they want to help veterans. Yeah. Here's my problem. Some people have the good intention, but then all of a sudden they see dollar signs and get rich off of that mission. And that's the problem I have.
When you lose the mission. If you lose the mission.
Yeah. So three things. We really we believe in fiscal responsibility. We always open up our books whenever we have donors that come in. We have been at 90% plus. It was 96 and then like 92 or something like that the last couple of years.
Amazing.
And so that's all that money that's going in into programs, right? And honestly, it's hard to be above 70 when you're a really small organization. It really is. But we've really we've been very intentional to make sure that these dollars go straight into our veterans. But talking about raising money, we are on May 1st at Destin. We have our Destin Gala May 1st from 6 to 8:30. Be there or be square. All right. It's going to be an amazing time. Just go to sofmissions.org and it's going to be incredible. We're going to be able to raise a ton of money. 100% of the money that we raise at that gala is going to go into veteran programs. Just like our last golf tournament, all that money is going straight into our veteran programs, into our clinics, into our coordinated care, into our collaborative care. Like, that's what we're doing. So go to our website, sofmissions.org, and you'll see right there, Destin Gala, be there or be square. And it's going to be May 1st, and it's going to be delightful. Dress well. All right. I'm going to be looking sexy in black. All right. With my wife.
Always.
Right? So hopefully I get to see Bill and Big. Come on, man. Get on out there. Come on. You'll be my guest.
Doesn't he remind you of someone else that we know that has this kind of energy?
Hoorah! Yes.
Great day to be an American.
It's always a great day to be an American. We understand that all too well, man. We really do.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you all. God bless each and every one of you.
Dr. Damon, I got to tell you, ever since the launch of BGT-TV, you are now the longest reigning segment on BGT-TV. That's how important this mission is.
I hope that's super awesome for you guys, man.
It is.
All right.
It was the fastest 37 minutes ever. How's that?
Thanks a lot, brother.
I don't think we've ever talked to anybody for 37 minutes, nonstop, and just keeps flowing. And that's what
At
you
least
want.
Not on the air.
No, it hasn't happened. Not in years.
Dr. Damon Friedman, thank you so much for what you do for our veterans, and thank you for your service and all that. And thank you to the people at SOF. And we certainly look forward to backing you guys up. And I'm certainly looking forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you, guys. God bless each and every one of you. Take care and Godspeed.
Don't go anywhere, because we're going to talk to you right after we come off the air and as we go into our next break here. BGT-TV, Bill, the Godfather Cuevas, SOF Missions.
That's it, brother.
we need to really stand behind this organization and show them some support.
Yeah, we'll be standing behind them. You know, I mean, they deserve it. I mean, he's a great man. I've been blessed to talk with him.
As a matter of fact, and when we talk to him, when we come off, I want to talk to him about getting a PSA and airing it here on BGT.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. All right, let's get off this air so we can talk to him. Come on.
More BGT TV coming your way right after this.